then, brother, the American government, I don't care how much you don't like Candace, I don't care how much you've been trashing the American government and the FBI, they got to do something. And I'm going to tell you what they will do. It doesn't matter right, wrong, or indifferent. They have to investigate this. They have to investigate this. And I think that if it is found to be true and the proof prevails, which I'm convinced, after talking to Candace and the stuff that we talked about, I'm convinced, then that means that there should be dire consequences for the French government and whoever else was involved, the Macrons or whatever, dire consequences. I'm talking about the American government should go after them like never before.
If you think that you're going to take out Candace Owens, look, Charlie Kirk took us by surprise, okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff ginned up right now, and if you were to take out Candace Owens, that would be the worst possible thing that you could do. I'm calling on President Trump. I'm calling on Donald Trump Jr. I'm calling on Eric Trump. I'm calling on Lara Trump. I'm calling on anybody that's going to, speak out. And I'm also calling on Tulsi Gabbard to open up an investigation into this, because this is unbelievable.
Then this is the biggest political story of our lifetime. Candace says a high-ranking French government insider contacted her and told her that Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron approved and paid for her assassination. Not rumors, not speculation, a direct claim. She says France's elite counter-terror unit, the National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, was greenlit to carry it out with one Israeli operative on the team. And listen, up until this point, if anything had happened to Candace, everyone would have assumed Israel was behind it. That was the entire narrative. But now she's saying the order came straight from France, and Israel was just a piece of the operation. And that flips everything upside down. She's also claiming Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Foreign Legion, which means this wasn't random. This was coordinated, multi-state, professional. And let's not forget about the planes. Don't forget about the planes. And Andrew Colvett, is this what you were warning her about? Because suddenly your credible threat comment feels a lot less random. But here's the part nobody should ignore. Candace says her source claims that the U.S. leaders already know about the threat, and they didn't warn her. If that's true, then this is no longer just a scandal. This is a national security crisis. This is where someone like Tulsi Gabbard needs to step in. Someone who isn't controlled by either side. Someone with military intelligence experience. Someone who actually calls out corruption, foreign and domestic. Tulsi, please, we need you to demand answers. We need a real investigation, because if a foreign government ordered a political assassination on American soil of an American citizen and our own leaders stay quiet, then that should terrify every single American. Let it all be revealed.
All right, guys, real quick. So one of the best parts about being a content creator is that companies reach out to us and they send us things for free. So CozyEarth.com has reached out to us and said they want to send us some pajama sets, some blankets, some sheets. I said, give me one of those bamboo pajama sets. I want one of them bubble cuddle blankets. That's what I want. And I want some sheets as well. Why? Because the holiday season is coming up. And one of my favorite parts is chilling with my family in my pajamas, under a blanket, talking sugar honey iced tea, eating snacks. And I want to extend that to you all as well. It's risk-free when you go to their website. 100-day trial, trying on their stuff, sleeping in it, seeing how you like it. Also a 10-year warranty on their items as well. This weekend only. From Thanksgiving all the way to Cyber Monday, when you go to CozyEarth.com and you put in the code LFR, you're going to get 40% off. Yeah, 40% off. It's the best deal of the year. And wrap the ones you love in luxury with CozyEarth.com.
Great question from Rain, and it's kind of largely about the conspiracy theories, and and I think, Blake, you said it well. It's like we have to give space for people to grieve. There is a trial coming up. We understand that sometimes when we don't speak on every topic, it creates a bit of a vacuum, and there is just so you know, there's a reason for some of the silence on certain things and the choosing not to engage in certain things. But I loved Rain's heart, and you could tell that she is grieved just by Charlie not being with us and the anchor that Charlie was in her life, but also the fact that, she wants to carry his mission forward, and she wants everybody to be unified and on the same page. So, Mikey, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you said it. If there's silence on something, oftentimes people say that it's silent because it's true. No, that's not why. Like, there's so many accusations out there against so many people. Even one of them are like a sermon that my dad gave where he said that I had blood on me. And for the record, like, he gave that sermon. I called my dad moments after everything happened, and I was screaming.
I was listening to that call, and
Blake was next to me. I was screaming on the phone. I said Charlie was shot in the neck, and he had blood all over him.
He said,
and
I think he said there was a lot of blood.
And I said, you need to call every pastor and pray for a miracle. And he thought, for some reason, that I said I had blood on me. So he gives a sermon 72 hours later where he addresses that conspiracy.
Yeah, and he says that
I had blood on me. Okay. I didn't see that sermon. And then about a month later, that was like trending all over social media. And I called my dad and I was like, did you actually say this? And he was like, yeah, I just found out it's not true. So like behind every single one of these are a human being. For an entire month, my dad had to live with nightmares every night that his son actually did have blood all over him.
Didn't you say he got emotional when he found out?
He got emotional when I was on the phone with him being like, that's not true. Why did you say that?
No, he was so glad to hear it wasn't true.
Yeah, like not everything is some grand scheme. And just because someone's not answering all of your questions when you want them to answer your questions does not mean it's
I want to close the loop on
All right,
this.
fine. I have one more thing.
I think, but there's a lot of people are deeply affected by this.
Yeah.
And for some people, the temptation of something very emotionally upsetting is they want to, frankly, sometimes there's a temptation to lash out. And I would remember that, I would encourage you to remember, all of us love Charlie. All of us care deeply about Charlie. It is fundamentally, I'll just say it is fundamentally outrageous and insane to say that any of us would have wanted Charlie dead or wanted anything bad to happen to him. And when we get emails where people just say, you killed Charlie, or like, you're lying about everything, I would strongly encourage those people to reflect on what is motivating them to do these things.
Yeah. So the way that Candace chooses to love Charlie is not the way that they choose to love Charlie. It's probably never been, and I'm just keeping it a buck, it's probably never been their spirit to attack someone the way that Candace goes after things. When she hyper focuses on a topic, and if she's passionate about it, and if it's true to her, she goes in. She goes in. You talking about nukes is what she does. Nukes is what she does. She attacked Turning Point USA, accusing them of being complicit in some type of way because they won't answer all of her questions exactly the way that they to her satisfaction.
I had a phone call with someone, by the way, who's extremely close to this current administration, and they said, completely offhandedly, we were not even really discussing Charlie, but then they said, something that's really weird. I was at Charlie's memorial. She said, when did Turning Point become so faith-focused? She's like, I remember, obviously, Charlie always spoke about his evangelical faith. She's like, but when you guys were running around starting all these Turning Point chapters, it was all about free markets and capitalism. And she was like, and I was at the rally, and it was suddenly faith, 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 pastor, 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 pastor. And I said, that is actually interesting. That is true, that it just kind of started. And then it was almost the biggest thing about Turning Point. It's really interesting to consider that. Turning Point suddenly got super de-duper faithful with what I would say is an interesting cast of characters, the wrong characters. Okay, Rob McCoy leading that frontier, as we know. What people don't know publicly is that Lance Wallnau was working with him. Okay, he was intimately involved, and more importantly, he was financially involved. Sources within Turning Point's faith department tell me that Lance was running the show behind the scenes through funding, that he put a ton of money into Turning Point USA faith operations. Now, I guess a better way for me to state this, because I want to be super clear here, is that Lance Wallnau, who is from a military family and who is saying that he believes in infiltration as a means to climb mountains and overtake society, however he just described that.
Now, the same way that I mentioned that them young men probably don't have the same spirit to fight the way that Candace does, that's the same way, in my opinion, that Candace does not have the same spirit of love for Christ and God the way that Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA did. I could be off. I can be off, but that's what I'm receiving. She sounds very demonic in that she's so upset that all of this pastor here and prayer there and love everywhere and, is all about God now. What's that all about? Now, of course, she's going to tie that into Israel and all those other things. And do she have a point? Potentially, she does her research. She's not willing to just pray about it and just let God do it. That's not her spirit. So the Bible tells us to be that way, though. The Bible tells us to leave it in God's hands. She's not. Make sure you get you some Mito Blue, okay? Go through the link below, blueturner.com. Put in LFR20 so that you receive 20% off. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. Y'all have been great. And I will see y'all on the next one. We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.